I'm gonna share something. There's never enough time.
Never enough for what?
To subscribe to this channel.
Then you never want to miss an opportunity.
I don't bake cookies for a living.
Telling a story about time travel can be really complicated, unless you just don't care. Like in the story Timecop.
Hey, I know all the good words. You trying to scare me?
Yeah! So we start off in the Civil War, where one guy wants to rob some soldiers. Well, they won't pay up, so he sprays them with bullets from 2 machine guns, killing them all, but not hitting a single horse.
We better not hurt the horsies.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
We then go to Washington, D.C., where this dude tells a committee about the scientist who invented time travel. And apparently this technology is super easy to replicate, because there's already a criminal underground that's going back in time and committing crimes so much that they want to form a new branch of police to protect time. Time cops.
We do not tamper with natural law. We defend it.
Across town, this beat cop, Max Walker, hits on his own wife.
Are you busy?
Gives fashion advice to a rollerblader.
You know that purse? Doesn't look good on you.
Doesn't go with the outfit.
And then notices the band Twisted's sister spying on him. He then goes back to his wife and tells her about the job he was just offered at TEC.
So they're just recruiting regular cops, not the FBI, CIA, or Secret Service? Wouldn't you need the highest clearance ever for this?
Well, you'd think so, but even the guy running the program is just a lowly commander from the local police department.
Well, fuck you too.
And there's nobody but Max Walker to keep the streets safe.
That night, he gets called into work, and his wife is clearly upset about something.
I have something I want to tell you.
Shit.
So he just leaves. He ends up getting jumped by the glam rock guys and shot in his own front lawn while his wife is screaming from the bedroom. And I guess the hairband didn't think that the uniformed officer would be wearing a bulletproof vest, and they just head inside the house, where it blows up.
We're all gonna be dead.
Wouldn't they think that it was really weird that something that big happened the same day they offered him the job? It's not like she died in a car accident.
Well, they may have thought it was weird, but apparently the arson investigation and the look into a cop that was shot in his own home turned up nothing, because we then go to 1929, where some guy's gone back in time to play the stock market.
Going back in time is a pretty easy way to make money.
When Walker shows up, you can tell by this dude's reaction that he's the best time cop there is, which is actually really surprising because they should have rescinded the job offer knowing that the day he was offered it, he now has a reason to go back in time to change the past.
If I cannot go back to save her, this scumbag is not going back to steal money.
And Walker wants to arrest the guy before he can change anything, so he takes him back to present day, leaving behind a futuristic weapon, today's newspaper, and 30 witnesses of 2 men disappearing into thin air, but of course none of that will change the future at all.
What bet it changes their family's futures when they wind up in a loony bin?
Toughened your nipples, didn't it?
Turns out that this guy was sent by Senator McComb, who's in charge of the committee that leads the time cops, which of course he tells Walker after he says that he won't say anything.
Who sent you?
My fucking cat!
Bullshit.
But then they go in front of a judge, and he won't talk at all, so he's put to death immediately.
And Walker doesn't tell the judge that they need to keep him alive because he has information that he might be able to tell them later? Haven't these people heard of interrogation?
I read it in a manual someplace.
McComb comes to visit and wants to know about Walker's mission. And instead of lying to him, Walker just flat out tells him he's making a case against him.
You're a fucking idiot.
So Max wants to take McComb down, and McComb wants to teach Walker a lesson. So after finding out that he's less popular than a hate group...
Meanwhile, Senator McComb's fading presidential bid received another blow today when it was denied federal campaign matching funds. The white supremacist party has qualified for matching funds.
It's a conspiracy against my success. They're jealous, that's why.
So now he needs to raise $50 million to stay in the presidential race. So he sends some guys over to Walker's house to make sure he stays out of the way. One guy gives him a knife.
Thanks.
And this other guy tries to stab it.
Wow, I thought you were, good at your job or something.
Well, I guess not.
And the third guy was with McComb at the TEC building yesterday. So why would you send your own personal security?
Fucking idiot.
This chick from Internal Affairs shows up because...
Assault, attempted murder, making a mess.
And they go to the TEC building. His boss wants her to go on this mission with him, even though she hasn't been trained on the time travel guidelines or equipment. But since this is serious, they don't care.
She'll get in my way.
Ask her to stay behind you.
So they get into this crash test car that sends them into a wall. But when they get to 1994, they just fall in the water.
Well, what happened to the car?
No idea. But this might be why the department costs so much money.
said that cost you a few billion, hasn't it?
So they show up to this warehouse where McCombs is being bought out of this company. The future McCombs comes in and tells him not to take the money in front of a witness instead of, say, before his partner wanted him out to begin with.
No, they won't let us do that.
He then gets really close to his other self, but warns him not to touch him because
same matter can't occupy the same space.
What would happen?
I get the feeling he's gonna tell us.
They would die.
Then why wouldn't he keep one of his goons between them?
You see, I'm an ambitious, Harvard-educated visionary.
Get away from him.
But Walker comes out to confront him, and when he thinks he's got him dead to rights, Fielding pulls her gun on him.
Internal Affairs isn't convinced you can be trusted anymore.
McCombs then kills his business partner, even though he might be responsible for making millions down the road.
The chip is going to be worth billions.
Plus, Jack already had his buyout check written out, along with a contract dissolving the partnership, written by his lawyers, who knew what he was planning on doing, so when Jack turns up with a future bullet in his head, McCombs thinks that everything's gonna be all hunky-dory.
Thanks for clearing that up.
So now everyone is trying to kill Max, but he does clever shit to survive, like hiding behind explosives while being shot at.
You're a fucking idiot.
After killing all the goons,
I should have said freeze.
Fielding comes after him, but McComb shoots her and then goes home.
Lousy night to be out.
And Walker goes too, leaving behind all the dead bodies of people who have younger selves running around and future tech.
I never quit.
When he arrives back at the future, he's somehow back in his car, and they're about to dissolve the TEC team.
We're shut down. Take a look around. We're history.
And McCombs becoming a billionaire has changed several things. Like Ricky's not a pervert anymore.
Damn it, Ricky. I catch you fucking this machine again, I'll break your neck.
It would be too much trouble to call me Richard.
Richard.
No one knows who Fielding is, and Walker and his boss never developed a friendship.
You say you were my best friend? Do I have a best friend around here?
Was I your only friend?
McCombs is now ahead of the polls, even beating out the white supremacists. Walker doesn't like this, so he wants to check if Fielding survived the shooting. His boss doesn't want to send him back because he'll lose his job, but the company's already being dissolved, so he sends Walker back anyway because he doesn't like the senator. McCombs is worried that Walker told his boss, but he should be worried about his friend he hit a few days ago and why he still has a cotton ball up his nose.
If you were my best friend, you wouldn't do this to me.
Especially since he hit him because he didn't have any money, and now he's a billionaire, so he would have never hit him to begin with.
Maybe he'll calm down after the election.
His plan is to take out Walker before he joins TEC.
That way nobody in the agency ever talked to him or even knew him.
Back in '94, he finds Fielding who wants to flip on McCombs, but they took some blood, so he needs to get the sample so the future boys don't find her records. But while he's looking for it, he finds out that his wife is pregnant.
Whoa, bad luck.
He goes back to find Fielding dead, and her heart monitor stops right as he's getting there, making the nurse think that he killed her. Now they have to go on a merry chase because no actions happen in a few minutes.
Oh, is that right?
Well, except everyone ignores the nurse yelling, and security only chases him down like half a hallway, but he does jump out a window for no reason.
Third jumper this week.
We then go back to the mall, where Max goes up to his wife, who doesn't recognize him because he has a mullet and crow's feet.
Who are you?
He tells her to come with him, and even though she can see this 80s metal bassist coming after them, she puts up a fight.
You're not Max.
It's me.
Oh my god. It's really disappointing.
Once he convinces her it's him, they go back into the mall where the goons can find him.
Why can't we just run away?
When she's back at home, the younger Walker gets the call to go into work, so she runs downstairs to talk to old Walker, who asks her if she told him about the pregnancy after he specifically told her not to at the mall.
Did not tell him? Don't tell him anything, please. Should have tried.
She then goes upstairs to tell him about the pregnancy, and he's like, "Oh, that's great. See you after work."
I'll be back soon.
The old Walker goes out the door and beats up the guy who would have knocked him out, but the guy gets a shot off, and Melissa's like, "Oh, don't worry about the gunshot that came from the front porch. It's not like it was in the living room."
What's the big deal?
Young Walker then turns off the power to the house, like normal people do when there's a shooting in your front lawn. But this does help old Walker get away from the second guy that attacks him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Can you find somebody else?
Melissa gets away by climbing out onto the roof during a thunderstorm and holding onto a metal rod, while young Walker takes care of this dude with a weird hairline. But when he goes out the window to get her, it turns out that the weird hairline guy only somewhat got thrown out of a window and is still on the roof to pull him down.
Son of a bitch doesn't know how to die.
Melissa then falls to join her husband.
This isn't the way I wanted to do this.
She finds one of their guns and shoots the dude while they hang from the strongest gutter in the world.
Not unless I say it is.
Young Walker climbs up to the roof and doesn't notice the light from this dude's gun until it's too late. And this dude must be a dentist when he's not time traveling. Old Walker then takes out another guy with the cunning use of laundry and shooting him in the penis.
Shit! Poor bastard.
He then goes inside to fight a guy until he sees McCombs with Melissa.
What the hell's going on here?
He wants to blow up the house because killing a DC cop is less conspicuous than killing a time cop.
Wouldn't the people who offered him the job want to investigate?
I mean, you'd think so, because even if he hasn't started the job, they were still planning on shooting him with bullets from a gun that hasn't been invented yet.
Well, beam me up, Scotty.
But young Walker shows up to save Melissa, and Glam Rock Dude grabs old Walker to distract him.
Sure is a handsome devil, isn't he?
And then pushes him out of the way so he can jump out the window to fight him.
Why wouldn't he just shove old Walker into young Walker if he knows it will kill him?
Well, this guy thinks he looks good when he leaves the house, so we're not exactly dealing with the brightest crayon in the box.
You look like shit to me.
Old Walker goes out to help his younger self and gets way too close, knowing that the same matter can't occupy the same space, and hits the guy instead of using the perfectly working gun.
He'll learn tonight.
McCombs then turns the power back onto the house to make sure the C4 works better or something.
You're gonna be an omelet.
Old Walker goes up to confront the senator, but he called his younger self and asked him to show up at a random address in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm, and this dipshit sees no issue with walking past all the bodies on the lawn, past the broken doors and glass, into a shut-up house, and upstairs into a random bedroom.
I'm a United States Senator. Hurting me is a federal offense.
Old Walker then takes young McCombs and kicks him into old McCombs.
I must be on Broadway.
And they become like one giant blob.
I remember having bigger balls.
Old Walker then daintily carries Melissa onto the lawn before the house explodes.
Will you lay off the fucking candy bars?
So Walker gets back to 2004 in the car again and sees that things are back to normal, but he forgot that he changed the future, and his boss forgets that he works in time travel because he just thinks Max is weird when he gets history wrong.
Hey, what's going on with Senator McComb?
Senator McComb?
He also doesn't need a debriefing or anything for time traveling.
I have a report to file.
What are you hanging around for?
So Walker goes home in his Buick Skylark covered in scrap metal, back to his fully restored house to see his son that he's never met, and kisses his wife who looks at him like, "Max, did you keep me from dying again?"
Am I dead?
No.
So they can tell when the present is being changed, but they can't tell when it has been changed?
Shut up. They can when the plot needs it to. But in this case, the main character's happy, so who cares?
And so just come on out and ask for it.
Thanks for the advice, Senator.
Will you subscribe?
Oh, you like that one.
Have a nice day.